The time has come.
And you're hanging out with two divas and a margarita, and I am Diva Tosh.
And I am Diva Cass, and happy Sunday to everybody.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
The time has come.
The time has come, our crossover show.
Yeah.
What Can We Talk?
Excited.
All right, so we're doing a crossover show today with another podcast show in our studio. Unofficial, Can We Talk? What's the unofficial about?
Look, Facebook is really on our tail. So
we
can't
working
just
on
call
that.
ourselves Can We Talk? But I'll
Okay.
let Eric do our classic introduction.
All right.
Thank you, Eric.
Oh, this is a lot of pressure.
Just say our name.
Are you
man.
going
go
to bring
with
out
it.
Well,
Eric,
good.
the smooth jazz?
I'm
sweat
doing.
voice?
Welcome to
There it
the
is.
crossover episode with Can We
Ooh,
Talk
I
and Two
like
Divas
that.
and a Margarita. My name is Eric McLeod, and we're here with the usual suspects: Shayna, Anthony, and the new face. Oh, Benny. Benny hasn't joined us in a while. Actually, you haven't been here ever, so it's your first time.
Sit slow, man.
Ever on a podcast, period.
But we would think.
He's a podcast
We
virgin.
popped his cherry.
Yeah.
Popped your podcast.
I've
Shay.
been here. A lot of blood.
But we would like to thank you two for hosting us and allowing us to collaborate with you all. We're excited about this discussion.
Yeah, it's so exciting
We
to
want-
finally put like a face to the voices.
Yes.
And here we are.
Yes.
Here we are.
It's about to
Live
get
in
wild. Yeah.
person.
Okay, and so we have a new engineer working with us today.
Ryan.
What's up, Ryan?
What's up, Ryan? Are you nervous, Ryan?
I'm a little nervous.
Ryan,
Don't be nervous.
And my head's like right in the way of the
Ryan, don't jack us up, please. It's all.
I'm trying. We're all learning here, right?
Right.
So we'll get Ryan a margarita.
Seriously. You need to be drinking.
I'm excited. This is awesome. So.
Okay.
No, Ryan is the one person. He's got to stay. I can't
Yeah.
hear myself, but you got to stay sober, Ryan.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sorry.
Unfortunately.
You're
Yeah,
handling
I
the
know.
engineering.
And you're going in front of the camera every time you lean that way.
Yeah, he know that's why he was trying not to.
Well,
Trying to
that's
hide
okay,
back.
but we still want to acknowledge you and say thank you so much for joining our show today and for doing the technical stuff for us. So we surely appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan.
One thumb up in front of the camera. Well, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about one of our favorite subjects, sex.
Talk about sex.
Yes.
Sex and millennials. So I think it's safe to assume that all our guests here are millennials.
Yes.
What is a millennial?
Allegedly.
Maybe.
Supposedly someone born between 1980 and 95-ish, somewhere
right.
in that
I heard-
area.
That's
so
a long stretch.
That's a long
a
stretch.
very long stretch.
But somehow we all fit in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so so that's what we're talking about, and we're gonna just get to it. Any exciting news this week? The little guy from
The little guy, he died.
Vern
died,
Troyer.
yeah.
Oh.
Died.
Thank
Dang,
you.
he died?
Thank you
What?
for that save,
Yeah.
Shayna, because I did not know his name.
Y'all just shook my soul.
Mini me died. Oh, my God.
We
Yeah.
just gonna call him the little guy.
That's a way to.
Many me did die.
But I know
and,
who she was talking
You
about.
know, so
legacy,
I
dog.
just think we should all take a sip.
Yes.
Hey,
Rest in
hey.
peace.
The
Pour a
little
little,
guy.
Yeah.
pour a little bit off of.
It's a short life.
Oh, stop it.
First of
Stop
all,
it.
I ain't pouring nothing out.
That wasn't right.
I remember when Paul
But it was funny.
I remember when Paul Walker died, my friend was like, wow, he really lived fast and furious. I'm like, oh, stop it. Stop it.
Oh, and one
Truth.
quick thing, we got to give a shout out to Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
Pulitzer Prize.
Oh.
Yes,
Pulitzer
yes.
Prize.
I mean, damn, you know, like, damn.
Damn.
That's big.
That's major.
That is
That's
amazing.
big.
That's major. He
K-Dot.
has broke down some barrier walls.
Exactly.
So
So
I'm excited about that.
good things
Well,
going
hold
on
up.
there.
I got to ask this question. Two Divas and a Margarita. Is that your version of Two Dope Boys in a Cadillac?
I never even heard of them, but
No, that's a song.
That could be. That could be a
That's some
podcast.
millennial
with
stuff. That's some millennial stuff.
see y'all on some millennial stuff here. We don't even know what
Giving
it
us a
is.
heads up
Outcast was
before
in
the
your
show.
time, but
So we could demure.
Well, Outcast was in our time. Had some good times to
That's our
Outcast.
time.
You know.
That's
So
our time.
so
millennials do
we're
their research.
we're going to get going with hey. Look, what are you trying to say here?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go
I didn't
ahead.
say.
Okay, so basically, we want to talk about millennials and sex. And I found something very surprising because I did some research.
Cassie is good with research.
I found out that, first of all, we all were under the perception that millennials were the generation of the hookup and the friends with benefits. But then supposedly I'm finding out that millennials are actually having less sex than their parents. They're supposedly, according to the LA Times, they're supposedly having less sex than any generation in 60 years. That's a big thing. Do you guys agree with that? I'm not saying your personal experience, but your generation, would you say they're the generation of hookups or they're being a little more conservative with their sexual choices?
To be honest,
It really depends on the person, but I think it's more hookups than conservative.
So you don't believe you guys are having less sex than
I don't believe that.
No, okay.
I don't know. I like based on personal experience. Like after I went through a really bad breakup, I was involuntarily celibate for like 5 years.
Oh wow. Okay, good.
It-
Wait.
Invi-
She
said we
said
gotta get back to that one.
involuntary.
Emphasis on involuntary.
Okay, Shayna, explain a little bit by what you mean by that.
Like I attempted to date. And I would meet a guy that I was physically attracted to, and then he would always say something. I was like,
Said something stupid, huh?
I can't even, like give you the draws. Like I
Mm.
don't know.
It was like that.
Hey.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I don't know. And then talking to my girlfriends, they'll be like, oh, I can't even. We get turned off by like a lot of stuff, especially when like in the past you've seen a red flag and then you encounter somebody new and you see that same red flag and it's like, oh no, I gotta step back.
Right.
So maybe we're wiser.
Actually, I think
so.
that's actually being smart on your part.
Right.
Just a little
Exactly.
bit.
For real.
I hear different things. Like I hear from guys like, I can never find a woman that I can take home to mama. And I hear from women like there's no good black men around. Like I remember when I found my girlfriend, she said to me, before I met you, I was gonna give up on brothers. I was gonna start going across the street or something. But she said, you're from a great home and I love you. And like you were a shock, and that shocked me. Like I was a shock. And I guess the dating game is hard, especially in the millennial generation, because it's all about the selfie, like the selfie and all
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the ease of access that we have to these apps, these dating apps. I think the hookup culture, I think it might be exaggerated. I think that we're taking maybe small examples and sort of blowing it up as being the assumption for everybody. But I don't really know. I think it could be a little bit of both. I think it might be somewhere in the middle. I think a lot of people are open and free with their sexuality and doing their thing, and other people may be a little bit more conservative. So it's kind of hard to say.
Okay, that's fair enough. I think we heard from
I like how he broke that down.
Well,
Benny,
Betty,
what
did we
do
hear
have
from
to
you?
say?
No. It's a lot to take. To go off of. My first question when you posed that was about how much less sex. are
Right,
we
yeah, what's the
having?
figure?
Like,
What's-
are we really that? Because I doubt it's that off. If you look at it, if we're millennials from 1980 to 1995, in there, AIDS and stuff came out. And a whole
Yeah,
bunch
well,
of-
that was a
Right.
big part of why
I'm guessing that
Yes.
may have something to do with it.
It did.
I think that had a lot to
Absolutely.
do with it.
Yeah, but
major
then,
factor.
then you have, but we're born, like if you're born in 1980, you're only having sex legally until you're 18. I don't know. So you grew up knowing about that stuff, and maybe that factored in. Honestly, we have more technology, like Eric was saying, Tinder, Plenty of Fish, and apps. So we should have easier access to other people.
For sure, I think you do.
And the internet just blew up on our face. We were the generation with primarily, learned that growing up. So,
Right.
it doesn't make sense. But if you look at it under the microscope, maybe it's the DARE actually worked when I was a kid. Maybe DARE, those school initiatives that make you abstain, maybe it worked.
Okay.
Or you posed a really good question, Benny, about like how are they gauging this? Are they gauging it because we're having less children, or are they gauging it by surveys?
I think it's more probably surveys. Some research, I would think, definitely would probably, I think surveys would be a huge one.
Yeah.
Probably.
Surveying millennials. But I like to go back to what we were saying about AIDS, the AIDS epidemic. It came up on the scene in the 80s, and it was a wake up call for
Yes.
everybody having promiscuous sex. So maybe that's why millennials decided maybe take a step back, because you definitely have more access. We were talking about this earlier when we knew we were going to do the show. And all we had was a telephone.
Right.
And if you were
And it was
in
connected to a wall.
it was connected to a wall. And if you lived in a house like me, with 4 brothers and sisters, you were even lucky to get on that telephone. So it was a lot of going out. I'm beyond. put my age out there because I'm going downtown to the festivals. Me and my best girlfriend getting phone numbers. Like that was like a big thing. We would like come home with these pockets full of
Pieces of paper.
phone numbers and trying to figure out now who was
Who
this
got the
one?
most, right?
You know, and who was this one?
That sounds awesome.
Right,
No,
girls
I'm
getting my
laughing
number. I would love that.
I'm laughing. We had to identify the person.
You had to
number
figure
with,
out
like,
because by the time
a
you got
trait.
home,
This guy had a mole on his face. Guy with mole on face.
That's hilarious.
It's true. So
we still do that.
Yeah.
Right.
We just put it in the phone.
No, but now you
Right.
got Twitter. You can look them up on
Take a
Instagram first, right?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. You know,
Yeah.
you guys, you have more access. You can research a little bit about
Yeah.
people because, you know, this is something I've had a hard time with. And it's probably really big in the millennials. But even Tosh knows, I was not a big fan of social media. I didn't even have a Facebook page until we started doing this podcast, which was like last year.
Yep.
Because it just was to me so personal
Yeah.
to be putting your stuff out there. And I'm just like, I'm not going to change, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, change is good. So to me, a thing that I don't understand, I have a 17-year-old son. I don't understand the putting all of your life out there for everyone to see. Like now, and I'm not saying that you guys do this, but maybe you can shed a little more light on what is the draw? What is the big thing? You know, why would you want to do that? I can understand sharing some photos.
Right.
I can understand this is a big thing, big event that happened in my life. I might want, but there's so many details like that people put out there.
I think there's this
in their lives.
addiction to sort of being connected to the world around you, right? I think that we always want to ensure that you know, we're connected with our friends either from college or in school, and then so we create these profiles to sort of, you know, update people in their lives, but it becomes an addiction to the point where
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
things that can be personal that we don't have to share, we're sharing it.
Yeah.
Or-
Actually, Eric, I like that you used the word addiction
Yeah.
with this. It really is
It
an
is.
addiction.
It's
And
literally an
I think a
addiction.
lot of people don't think of it because when we think of addiction, we think of drugs, we think
Right.
of alcohol, we think of sex,
yeah.
you know. But
Yeah.
we never use the social media as an addiction. And I like that
Yeah.
you said that.
And I think it's,
The same chemical from your brain is released like as you get more likes on posts. and pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
So it's a
Definitely
real
is.
Yeah.
addiction.
It's a real thing.
I believe even I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I believe even like the most like reserved person, like I'm on Facebook, like I'm mostly on there for like business purposes, like for our podcast or, you know, like my Instagram profile at Reluctant Movie Buff, you know, but it's like sometimes
Was that a shout out?
yes, I'm gonna do that. I'm sorry, I brokered this meeting, you know.
right.
But you know, I feel like and again, this goes back to relationships. I feel like, you know, one time me and my girl got in a fight, and I did not want to be this person, but I vaguely put out on Facebook like, man, I hate it when you're in a relationship and such happens. And then I remember my girl reached out to me like, don't be that guy. Like that's not the guy I fell in love with. Don't be that guy. And I'm like, hey, I'm not perfect. I needed somebody to vent to. I ain't gonna tell this to my mama. I ain't gonna talk to my dad.
But you
know.
gonna tell it to the
Tell
whole
it to the
world.
world.
I mean,
That don't make no sense.
But the people I'm friends with on Facebook are actually my friends. I don't have like 100 friends.
Yeah.
It's limited. But I'm like, I gotta tell this to somebody. And
Okay,
she's
wait,
like,
wait. I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
Could you not have just dialed Benny's number?
Right.
And been like,
Oh, yeah.
man, Benny, I need to talk instead of just making that post out there?
listen, like I said, we're not perfect. I
Okay.
wasn't perfect in
All
that
right.
moment. I just
In
I
the
said,
moment, I like that. Okay.
I had to say something out there, and she was like, "Don't do that," you know. And plus, you know, we're not the type to do that. We talk about it in the moment. But I realized something.
I
that-
like her.
Yeah, I like her too. But you know, I realized something in that moment that, you know, humans aren't perfect, and it can become addicting, and it can draw you in to do something you're not usually willing to do. Like I don't go to Facebook for my problems, but in that moment, I was like, I got to vent to something, you know.
And I agree with that. I think that, you know, as human beings, our nature is to, if we have something to say, we want a space to say it. And I think that social media is just that easy platform because
It is.
we assume that no one's looking or no one's paying attention. You know, I make posts not really expecting anyone to reply. It's just more so I'm getting this off my chest and I want to sort of express myself. You know, so this is our way to do so, but we don't understand. But again, there's consequences to those decisions that
Yeah.
you make. Yeah.
So probably when you're ready, in a moment and angry, you probably should take a few minutes, settle down before you throw that post out there. I think because, like I said, I am fairly new to Facebook, and I was just like, what? talking about this. They put all their business out there, and so it was. And then there's the selfie queens.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that one was
Filters galore.
Instagram model. That's what
Yes.
that was interesting to me as well, because when I would go onto the Facebook feed and I would see the same people all the time. They're just constantly, and it's like, wow, like, do you have a job? Like, how do you have the time to do this? You know, I definitely get sharing, and
that is profitable.
It is. You make some money.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. You find lots of people, monetizing off of Instagram, Facebook. So I want to go back and get a little more into the set. One good thing about you, Melinda, supposedly the Huffington Post says teen pregnancy has plummeted under millennials. That is so good.
That is. That's all. Yeah.
You know,
So there's some pros and cons to this.
there's some pros. Obviously, if you're having less sex, you're having less teenage pregnancy.
Right.
I would think.
But
so.
I'm not opposed to the Plan B smoothie for my daughter.
Sneak that on in there.
Well, you know what? I want to ask about socially how connected you guys are, because I observe in my household, because I got two girls, and I find that at the age that they are today, which I'm going to say 22, even though they're like, we are not 22 yet, but they are 22, that they don't go out or hang out like I used to at that age. You could not keep me home.
Yeah.
But I find that a lot of their time is spent sitting on these phones, because that's how they keep in touch with their friends. That's how they communicate with their friends. I actually was waiting on one of my girls to come back with some feedback about something, and she's like, well, so-and-so didn't text back yet. And I said, well, how about just calling her? Because we sitting here waiting for a text back, and you could actually make the phone ring and get an answer right away. Do you guys find yourself talking in text as opposed to actually talking to each other?
Listen, if I'm like, I can be on the phone with Benny, I can be on the phone with Eric and Shayna, but I feel like if it's somebody that's a friend and we hang out occasionally, we got to text before we start talking. Right. Like, I talk to my girl all the time. And, I feel like you talk with somebody that you feel a real friendship with or a real relationship with. I feel like texting is like, that's the basics. There's steps to this, and I guess in the millennial time of things, there's steps to this.
I never looked at it like that.
It is, because it's like, when you get a call from somebody that you don't usually talk to on the phone, you're like, oh, why didn't you just text me, bro?
For real.
And you don't want to be mean about it, but it's like, yo, this is our effective communication. Calling is something way deeper. It's hard to explain. I know it sounds weird, but calling is like a deeper bond.
So you definitely do that with your girlfriend.
Yes,
You're doing
yes.
But you don't necessarily want the fellas calling you. You just
no. It's not that. It's just a deeper bond. Like you got, like I really mess with you if you can call me. Right. Like my grandma, she can call me. Like my mom and dad, she can call me. Like they can call me.
Problems.
Okay.
But it's like, I don't know. It's a deeper bond to me.
I look at it as a convenience thing. Like sometimes I'm busy. I'm not in the space to talk on the phone and call you. So I'm just gonna shoot you a message like, hey, I want to get this, and it's usually quick messages, nothing too long. But again, it's just short, sweet, to the point. And if I do have to talk to you over the phone, I don't mind calling you. It's just, again, let's use this method first before we go ahead into the other step.
All right, I do want to give a shout out to Rafe, because we are live, so we're getting feedback. Rafe, thank you for the feedback. He's saying it could be that you want some input, but no specific person to vent to. So just want to say thank you to that. If anyone's else out there listening, send us a comment. We can see your comment. We want to know what you think as well. I'm sorry. Can go on.
No.
So another thing, millennials, you guys aren't getting married so soon.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. So you say the same thing. You're not getting married. Your friends are pushing marriage off a little bit longer.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, I see the opposite. I see a lot of my friends hooking up and getting married and having the dog with the picket fence in the house and all that. I do see that from my friends. I guess we're getting a little deeper here. With my girl, she's totally opposite. Like, she wants to push for that, and I'm
Sorry,
on the
how long
course.
you been dating? I'm sorry. How long have you guys been dating?
About About 2 years.
Okay. All
It's
right.
about up there.
I like that you looked at his cup and said that. He was like, about 2 years.
No, it's up there.
That,
It's up
that's a nice length of time.
No, it is, and and I do see her as a Miss Holden, but it's just the fact
That's,
that I
that's good.
wanna-
Ooh.
Ooh. We gotta talk about this podcast, y'all.
but it's like I want to focus, like, I remember I was talking with Benny about this. I want to focus on me. Like, I want to enjoy us as a couple before we become, married, because I'm going to take that seriously.
Yeah.
Can I chime in?
It's going to switch gears. But go ahead.
To defend Anthony and my friend and other millennials, did you guys need a college? Well, how about a decade ago or 2 decades ago? Did you really need a college diploma, or did you just go get it if you wanted it?
No, I think you needed one. I'm be honest. I don't have one.
Well, let's there you go. So my point is, it's more of a necessity for us to have a college diploma,
Actually,
which slows down.
I don't mean to cut you off or speak over Cass, but no, you didn't need it like you need it today.
Yeah, I do think you
Yeah.
need it more today.
Exactly. So my point is, a lot of people got factory jobs, especially here in Michigan.
This is true.
Yeah.
My grandfather.
You talking about my dad's generation? Now you
well, I'm speaking on
Don't
my.
age. Don't age her.
don't put me way over there, Ben.
Well, you
But I do
referenced-
understand what you.
To be fair, you did reference the people before us. You said they did it sooner. Well, what would stop you from getting married? Well, maybe money, maybe not having your self-established, like my friend Anthony, maybe not having a proper education for the job you want to make the money you can make. So this is the reasons why, like, my uncles are in the plant now. I actually worked at a plant myself briefly, but I gave it up to finish my degree because I knew that was more
Oh, good.
more going to be more money for me at the very end of the rainbow. And so I could have had that life, and luckily I didn't, because they helped me and paved the way for me. So my point is that we have, in my opinion, more things to do, longer time spans to do it. If you want to be an engineer, it's probably going to take you a good 8 years, bachelor's, and whatever else you need to do. I mean, doctor too. So if you really want to have a good job and a good lifestyle with today's world, you have to do that, because high school is not good enough anymore.
No, I don't believe so.
So that's why.
I will also say that there's a sense of selfishness that we have as well. I think that we're
Yes.
looking out. Again, I got friends like I want to travel a little bit before I get married. I have friends who want to sort of enjoy life a little bit before they get married. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I think that since we're
agree.
living in this globalized society, the borders are widening. You want to enjoy life a little bit before you know that you settle down for the long run. When you're in your 30s and moving forward. So I think that can also be a thing that, as well as education, is important. But it's a multitude of factors.
Yeah.
Definitely so.
Well,
I
so
agree.
those are some reasons why you think you said you putting it off for school, you're putting it off to enjoy life a little more, because I'm going to tell you too, when you do get married, it's a lifestyle change for a lot of people. So you want to have a little more fun. One thing I found interesting as well doing my research is that millennials are so busy. Yeah. So they say that, and I happen to know a few that. I hate to put out Mary, I won't say her last name. That was a busy young lady, and a few other young people I know. Like, it amazes me how you can fit so much into your lives, jobs and school and just a multitude of other things. And this is one of the reasons why they say millennials are putting marriage off a little longer. Good news is that you guys are putting it off, and they say that people who put marriage off to later years, it is more likely to last. So that's definitely a good thing.
Absolutely.
My parents were married. My mom was 16. Actually, her mom had to sign for her to get married. My dad was a little older than her, but still, surprisingly, there's no way I would have considered marriage at 16, and I don't think the millennials, most of them, would probably not consider
That's
marriage
funny.
at such a young age.
I was gonna say that's so funny because at one of my jobs, my supervisor told me, she was like, when she found out that I had found my new place, she says, "Oh, is your girlfriend moving in with you?" I said, "No, I like my solitude." she'll be over there a lot. She says, "You know what? It's good you're saying that, because I got married at a young age, and she later got divorced. But she was like, yeah, I think you're going from the right way, but be careful when you're by yourself. You like being by yourself." So I kept that in my mind too. But yeah, I feel like. And when you spoke about the young lady that you knew, we're busy because we're trying to work to be where we can't be, where we don't have to be so busy. Sure. I think that's the reason.
And with Anthony too, I'm going to point out, when you're looking at your parents' generation in a divorce rates right now, like somewhere in there 50%, it's almost like
Yes.
you're gonna be a little bit more cautious before you jump into that, because you see that there's not really a good success rate. So you want to make sure it's the right person, the right
Absolutely.
time, and it's important. I think that's an important reason why I hope in the future that the divorce rate goes down. I mean, who's to say? But I think that again, they're looking at parents, they're looking at what happened to their parents' families, and if they divorce and split up, and how that's going to sort of affect them psychologically.
Okay.
We're looking at relationships.
Yeah, I know I'm not married yet because I haven't found a man like my daddy.
There it is.
but when I say like my daddy, I mean somebody who was able to not go to college and benefit from affirmative action when it was only for black people, who was able to finesse a VA loan into a home. Like he had access to resources back then that a lot of black young men don't have now.
Okay. Okay.
Wow.
So do you think you do you want to get married?
Yes.
Because some people just don't want to get married.
Yes, I would love to be a wife one day. I work toward that because I know I have a lot of personality flaws. Like I work toward that daily. You know, preparing my mind, my behavior toward being a wife one day. I'm already a mother, so I work toward that a lot, and I would like to be married.
Okay.
I actually like the thought of millennials taking longer to get married.
Yeah.
Because I do think that's so beneficial for so many reasons. And you hear me say this all the time, Cass. I think for most, I could only speak for young ladies, we really don't know ourselves until 30 and beyond.
Yep.
Because between now and 29-ish, 30, 31, we're changing so much.
I agree.
And I think a lot of the things that in your 20s that you were okay with and that you liked, by the time you get to your 30s, you realize, I know myself a little better.
I think that's
and I
men
really
and
don't like
women,
that
though.
anymore.
I think you can safely say that that's for men and women. You are
Yeah.
not the same person in your 20s as your 30s, as
Yeah.
your 40s. So as you go on, you mature and you learn more.
Yeah.
And if you sometimes you get married too young, you have two people here in their 20s that are two completely different people over here in 30
Absolutely.
and 40. And now we're
Absolutely.
growing apart because, you know, we realize who we are and we want different things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing. One of the things that sets you off too is like, and this is just me. You know, I look at my parents. I love my mom and dad very much, but I feel like they're the type that like, it's like married with children. It's like they love each other, but they don't like each other. And I'm like, of course, like and of course you know, as a man, you look for your mother and your girl, and I do see similar characteristics between them, but not to a negative impact. You know, like, but it's like I don't see that in my girl, but I look like in my mom and dad, I'm like, they are not happy. Like, they are not happy. And I'm looking at that, and I'm like, I don't want that.
No.
So
Right.
that, in the back of your mind, that affects some things, too.
Do you think not putting anybody on blast, do you think people get to a point where they just tolerate each other?
I think that's the situation with my
I
folks.
see people that aren't married that do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Tolerate
yeah.
each
I
other?
would have to totally agree. And you're like, okay, you're not even married,
Right.
but is it the fear of the unknown?
Or fear of being alone. I think a
Fear
lot
of
of people
being
are scared
alone.
of being alone.
And then also the unknown. I know this person. I know this who I'm dealing with, even though they drive me insane. I just don't want to get into a new relationship because this is comfortable for me.
Right.
And then everything is so fast paced. You can be out of the dating game for 2 years and then get back in, and it's different from when you were single.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I agree. So, guys, your marriages are lasting longer. You're putting marriage off, but supposedly you like the hookup. So let's talk about the hookup. All
The
right.
Thirst out.
So I just want to go around the table because the hookup, the FWB, the friends with benefits. Give me your definition what a friend with benefits is. And I know you're in a relationship, but you weren't always in one.
Right, of course not. Yeah, actually, I had one. So basically, it's like this, man. You know, it's somebody that you have an emotional and or physical connection to, but you don't establish yourself as a unit. I feel like even when you're a couple before marriage, you establish yourself as a unit. You don't really establish yourself as a unit with this person. It's like they're the homie, but they're the homie you're attracted
Homie
to.
lover friend.
Right, exactly.
Now you know
Right.
I'm going back.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's basically my definition there.
And sometimes it could be a situation where it's just the wrong place at the wrong time. Like,
Okay, so-
you could be really good with each other, but for instance, you're about to graduate from college and you're gonna be moving to another state, so it's really no point of becoming, actual partners because those things are gonna it's not gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so before we go finish it, supposedly friends with benefit is the two people in the same social circle that hang out as friends, but also have sex. Would you say that is accurate? What do you think, Shayna?
I think friends with benefits is a farce. I think.
Oh, I like this.
It's basically people who have an emotional connection that want to sleep with other people or don't want the responsibilities of a relationship, and that can be the male or the female in the scenario. Myself, I am emotionally attached to my vagina, so I can't have that type of situation. Like, I have to be with you, or we have to be on the path of being together in order for me to give my body to you.
Have you ever tried it?
Yeah.
Oh, and so it didn't work.
It didn't.
It gets messy.
It didn't work. It didn't work for me, and it also didn't work for the other individual.
Okay.
It never works. It never
No.
lasts.
No, it
That's
never
one
does.
thing.
But I do want to get back to that. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go and see what you think friends with benefits actually really is to you. And have you ever had one?
So for me, I'm the type of person I'm a relationship type guy. When I'm emotionally invested in someone, I want to give them my time because I think that's just fair, right? And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I think that ultimately, friends with benefits are people who it may be a situation, again, wrong place, wrong time, or they just like the convenience of that, just being with the person but not really being with the person, right?
You're physically attracted to her.
Right, but you don't want to be with them in terms. You don't want to be locked down
You don't
into
wanna be
something.
locked down.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Have you been in that type of relationship?
I'm always relationships. I
Okay.
keep it either if it's a short period of time or if it's a long period of time. I want to dedicate myself just to that person.
Okay.
You are who you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Fair
Yep.
enough. It's not for everyone. How about you, Benny?
Answer the question. No, but I will say that I've had plenty of female best friends, and as it's been, there are moments where it's just like I could go for the strike right now, but it just feels like the time has never been there. Just to sum it up, I mean, I'm not that great of looking of a man as Anthony, so probably is.
Don't say that. Don't say
Who
that.
knows? But yeah, that either it's been like straightforward. It could just be a juncture of who I am, just as a person. I'm more straightforward. If I like somebody, actually, I tell them immediately. So
You do
yeah,
tell them?
yeah, I go in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say you have lots of female friends.
Yeah, so
Are
honestly,
you physically attracted to any
that's,
of them?
and that's a part of Anthony's definition is a physical or emotional connection. I've had maybe emotional connections, but I know if I'm physically attracted to them and if I want to pursue them, because it's actually more than just physical intimacy. It's actually more of a mental cognition thing. I like the virtues in you and everything else.
Right.
That if those two things don't follow, that first thing's not there, it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
So I'm never in this in between zone. I think
The friend zone.
The
in between zone.
And
that's
That's
we
a
gotta
dark
talk
place.
about
That's a dark
that.
place.
It's a dark, lonely, sad place.
and so
An inescapable place.
going off what Shayna said, I think it's a farce because I think that's only a product of a person who's not sure what they want or who they are and what they can really have, what's realistic. So you may say, okay, I'll go with the friends with benefits thing because she will never, ever, ever. She's going to Chicago. It's not realistic. Let's just do this. Oh, I just like her. I'm not sure if I'm really her type, but hey, I think I can smash. So I'm no insults thrown. I feel like it's just a product of how you view yourself and if you're sure of what you really want.
Okay.
Also, I got to piggyback off Eric. It's kind of like an identity revelation moment because after that experience and a little incident with another woman, I kind of realized I'm the relation type. I kind of realized that, it opened my eyes a little bit like, this ain't really for me. Because it is a farce. You realize it don't really last.
Right.
It doesn't last.
Okay, I do want to ask you, Ryan. I know you thought you were going
wide
to
open.
you thought you were safe, but you were not ever safe here. What have you been in a friends with benefits situation before? And if so, what have you?
I have back in my day. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, I've been there. But I guess I'll just say that it seems like a good thing at the time, but just kind of learning from mistakes. I feel like I guess if I could go back, it probably wasn't worth it. Like nothing ever really like bad happened, but you're kind of like, what was the point of that?
Did it ruin the friendship?
It just made it weird, and it probably could have been more. And you kind of think you're living in the moment, but you're actually like looking too far forward and just I don't know. I just, after like kind of reflecting back on it, it just didn't seem like a good thing. But you know, you got to learn, you know, and it's not for everybody. And yeah, I don't know. So
Okay, let me ask you this. This was apparently a friend of yours, someone you hung out with. You probably knew fairly well.
yes, yeah.
So it happened in the heat of the moment, or was there a discussion like, "Hey, why don't we just start having sex and still be friends?" Like,
Yeah, kind of like the party scenario, you know, where, you know, we're just hanging out and having a good time and, you know, one thing led to another. Then it's just like everything was so cool and, you know, just kind of open before. And now it's like, now when I text you or call you, it's like, do you want to, you know, like I always kind of go too far and I'm like, do you want to go out to dinner? Do you want to do these things?
you-
And they're like, whoa, like, what?
You were
know?
right. You were right.
Yeah. And I'm like,
I admire
I
that
being
you
the nice guy?
actually.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't just saying, "Hey, we're friends. Let's just kind of bang it out every now and then."
yeah.
You were being a gentleman and saying,
Yeah.
"You know, let's go out to dinner or whatnot."
Yeah, and then it's like you're not getting the reply back. It's like I'm busy. It's like, oh, like
Yeah.
burn.
So,
Right.
were you in the same social network? Did you have the same friends and whatnot?
Yeah, it was kind of like work related, so it was a little
it was
different.
not the work. Oh my God!
I know.
Was it this job? No.
No. This is a long time ago.
Because when you were in that work situation, you can't even get away from it. It's like every day you have to go
Yeah.
to your
5 days
job
a
and you
week.
have to see this person. So
Exactly. And I feel like they handled it better than I did because I guess maybe I was catching feelings for
Okay.
it. So
and that is
you
the
know.
risk in
Yeah.
that type of situation. You risk one of you catching feel. If both of you do, I think that's actually really good.
Yeah.
You know, so well, thank
Actually,
you
you
for
know what?
sharing.
Oh, you're welcome.
depends.
Thanks for
They
asking.
made a movie
Depends.
about that
Yeah,
with
I like that
Justin
movie.
Timberlake.
They did.
And I mean, if you just want to take some stuff that happened in that movie, you really don't know how far to take it. And then you get too emotionally caught up in the moment because if you text her for dinner and she said no, then you're like, oh, you know, you don't know how to feel. You don't know which way to go. Left, right. I don't think it's ever a good thing. What are you
listen,
thinking, Anthony?
I can't say it's never, because if this is a person you are truly friends with and you hook up and it becomes a relationship, it could be really good, don't you think? I would think.
like me, you have an identity revelation. It can be a good thing.
Most times it's not.
Most times it's not.
But the
But
question
if
is, how
it
many
worked
times does
out.
it turn out into
Yeah.
a relationship?
Yeah, because why
You know.
aren't you in a relationship anyway? You know, it's
or
just,
a failed friendship.
yeah. I think the worst thing is you can mess
Lose
up
your
the
friends.
friendship
Yeah.
and lose the friendship, and it
Yeah.
can be really awkward.
Yeah.
I don't personally know too many scenarios where it actually did work out. Do you guys? I don't think I've.
Nope.
Anthony,
I don't know
still
any
talking to her?
friends.
Are you still talking to
Let
her?
me ask you guys about we're just talking about
We're
hooking
cool.
up.
We're cool.
you're cool.
We're
Okay,
cool.
there you go.
Cool.
We're amicable.
We're just talking about kind of hooking up, and we talked a little bit about social media. The social media and the hookup. Come on, let's talk. First
This
of all,
guy, he knows.
again, I'm just going to share this. It might be oversharing, but I just got on Facebook last year when we started the podcast. If somebody send me one more penis pic,
Oh God.
Oh.
I mean,
Whoa.
if you listen now,
Sliding into
don't
DMs.
send me your penis anymore. I don't want to see it. I don't want to
Yeah,
see
like
the imprint of-
unsolicited dick pics are the worst.
What
Like
is-
I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't ask for
didn't
that. I mean,
ask.
if I asked for it, then
Just
you
drop
know.
it on the table. There you go.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that out there. So you do get the dick pic.
I mean, I used to like get the unsolicited like when I would first meet a guy.
Yeah, you
know?
don't even
That's
know
bold.
me.
That's
You
a
don't
bold
know
You don't
anything
know
about
me
me.
or
Straight to the
anything
point.
You don't
about
know
me.
if that is super offensive to me, but you're taking the chance of sending this dick pic. I was trying to be nice and say penis, but you know, Janice like, hey,
Let's call it what it is.
It's a
Let's call it what
dick.
it is.
And now with the way the way technology is now, you have the group chat where you don't see your friends every day, but you still talk to them every day in the group chat. So if you send me an unsolicited dick pic, it's going in the group chat and we talking about it.
And I'm unfriending you. Okay. So I do want to say Quincy just chimed in and he says friends with benefits usually don't go well if planned. If you're really cool, then it might just happen to go down. But normally, if you keep pursuing it, then that's when it turns out to be weird. So thank you, Quincy,
Yeah.
for chiming in. So we'll go. It is true. It's unsolicited. I didn't ask for you to send me, and it probably isn't even your penis because you're trying to really be like, hey, look, check this out. I'm all big.
I want to know, what do they think the reaction is going to be?
I can't.
Do they
Okay,
think that I'm going to be
They
like,
must
wow?
think every woman is a freak or something.
let me, and that's what I want to talk to you guys.
Some are.
We do have some guys here, and,
Yeah.
and I'm not naturally. I'm not accusing you guys of sending dick pics. What is the whole? What is the thought process?
I'll put it this way.
possibly behind
Please,
this.
do tell.
So are people
Preach,
really?
Eric.
As men,
Yes.
we are stupid. That's it. We're dumb. We don't think things through. We sometimes we work off of impulses, and if we think it's the right thing to do at that time, we just do it.
I see this girl I like. Boom, send her my dick.
Right. So I guess in our minds that she's going to be sexually turned on by this picture. But I'm sure she's
Really?
probably going to report it to the police 9 times out of 10.
You're like, I didn't see that going that way.
As men, we take dumb risk. It could either be a less dumb risk, like something like way more innocent than that.
High risk, high
like
reward.
But we take risk. Like maybe trying to snag a kiss on the second date or something. Be like, hey, I don't know you like that. Like we take risk.
High risk, high reward. That's what we
there's
think.
no
So
reward
that's
in
That only
but-
happens in Vegas.
I get offended because I have a child. I don't let her use my phone because of the way the internet is, and you can access anything quickly. But you don't know that. You don't know that I don't let her use my phone, and you sending me that
Right.
like that, and without asking if it's okay. Like I take that as disrespect.
It's weird. When I first started getting them, I was like, what? It is kind of big, but
I think Shayna said it right. I do find it
You don't.
extremely disrespectful.
So guys,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're out there and this is not the way to get the girl. If you do get the girl by sending this, is it the girl you really want? Well, maybe it is.
I don't know if you
Maybe it is the girl that really.
Hey, man,
Ryan's over there
everyone's different.
smiling. Ryan,
want that hookup.
Everyone's different. Everyone's different.
No, you never know, but I'm just saying you should have permission. I totally agree, but
Imagine the story that you would say to your kids. Like, I met your mom by posting her, sliding her
so
DMs.
we are talking about are you guys getting this? Are you getting boobs? I mean,
No,
does
it
this
don't work like that for
happen?
I
guys.
don't get that.
I would love that.
It don't work like that for us.
Even
Like
a
we,
committed relationship.
Actually, you know
Like-
what? I had my social media access
Quincy
has always
says-
been
I'm
Facebook,
sorry.
but I set up a Snapchat account because I wanted to play with the filters, and the first snap I got was a dick pic,
oh my god.
and I had to go to my daughter to ask her how to block this guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
like, that
Awkward
was awkward.
conversation.
it's getting out of hand. Quincy says it's risky, but more women than you might realize are turned on by this stuff. Really,
Really?
To go with Quincy,
So they're
women are casualty of war. I'm sorry, you guys were casualty of war. You didn't like it. You were a casualty of war because men will tell you men are hunters, and
Yes.
I'm not defending
and
this
I want
too.
you to be a hunter. We've
Right.
talked
Right.
about this on
Men
our
are
show
hunters.
before. I'd rather you be the pursuer,
Right.
but like boom,
You're casualties of war.
you gotta be like.
I mean, if you send it to
Sorry.
enough people, I think like statistically, it's
Statistically,
the average
you're
out.
gonna
maybe-
get-
no.
1 out of
If
10.
One out of 10, maybe.
1 out of 10.
and,
Yeah.
that's what he's hoping for.
Right.
If
Yeah.
I get 1 out of 10.
Just like going fishing, I guess. You'll get.
And then
One.
as far as like women sending nudes, we live in an exposure culture now, and they have what they call like revenge porn, where you send things to a man that you trust, and then
Yes.
they'll post it online publicly for like other people to see. Like I'm very comfortable with my body, but I'm not sending you any nudes.
Yeah. And now that I've been hearing they're trying to make that's illegal to if someone sends you a picture of themselves and then you send it on to someone else and it's without permission, it is illegal to do that. So shoot,
I think because some of these stories with young people in high school,
Right.
it has resulted in a few suicides.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the other thing. It's so sad. I know we're talking about millennials here, but now you have these younger kids because they're so just involved in social media. It's everything to them. I mean, these are like middle school kids, high school kids, and they think it's okay to send these pictures, and then they become, they're everywhere. And like you said, it's high suicide rate. I mean,
yeah.
it's
I mean, let's
going up.
think of the consequences that comes with that.
I got a quick question. The hunter thing about the man being a hunter, is that on your list? Because I wanted to talk to that too.
No, let's talk about that because you know what? I see so many. I'm old
I got a
school
funny
in that
story.
way. I want you to pursue me. I
Right.
don't feel comfortable pursuing a man. I think a woman should let him know give him some kind of sign. It's okay to pursue me because I think you guys are looking for something like, I don't know if she likes me.
Verbal, nonverbal signs.
Yeah.
'Cause he's got in trouble
I
for
think
that.
all women, CEO all the way down to the lady that flips burgers, we all want men to pursue.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
all want men to
Right.
be men.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I agree.
What's
shout
your
out
story,
to the lady
Anthony?
that flips the burgers.
Anthony got something to say.
My story.
What's going on, Anthony?
I met my girl at a baby shower. Like I was invited by one of my friends, one of my girlfriends, and I said, hey, I'll look you up on Facebook. She said, all right, cool. And I was going. It's not a 3-day rule, but I didn't want to contact her during the week. I just wanted to give it some time and not look thirsty.
Yeah.
And I know like 2 days later she reached out to me like, so was you gonna reach out to me or what?
There you go. There you go.
And I was like, yeah, I was, but I came up with an excuse like, we're both working people. I knew you'd be busy during the week and you don't want to hear from a man, so I was gonna reach out to you on the weekend. She said, okay, that's a good excuse. So what you doing this weekend? Like she asked me, and I was like, oh, I'm not. What are you doing? And that kind of led to setting up the first date. And I was going to be the hunter, but I was delaying my hunting of my prey or whatever. I was thinking too much. I was
But
trying
you
to time
got
it out.
her number at the baby shower.
Right.
Well, I got her Facebook.
Her Facebook.
Oh.
So you
you
don't
got-
give out the number.
I'd
That's
rather
close.
give
That's
you my
close.
number. I'd rather give
Yeah.
you my number than my Facebook. I've been on Facebook since my junior year of college.
Right.
There's all types of information on
Right.
there.
But
And I don't want you to gather all of that about me before we first talk on the phone.
Oh, that's
but
good.
there's Messenger though.
But
There's
she
Messenger.
gave it to him.
Yeah, she said, okay,
She
yeah,
said-
I'm this person. I said, okay, cool. It's a millennial thing. Like
Yeah.
Shayna, come on. Like,
But I'm an older millennial. Like I talk on the phone, but I text you, and like my daughter, she's 7. She's asking for a phone. I'm like, you might get a Razor when you're 16. Like you're not gonna get like the full phone, like
Right.
with everything
Yeah.
on it.
That's another thing too. She wanted to talk to me when we were first talking, like not text. But
Like,
yeah.
nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was new, wasn't it? Was that new?
Okay, so that
sorry.
brings us back to, you said you like to be the pursuer. You want to,
Yeah.
you want to pursue your prey. Things are a little different these days. It did used to be old school. The men definitely went after the women. The women played,
Hard to
a
get.
little hard to get. I do see that as changing.
Yeah.
I see the women going for what they want, and we talked about this before, and getting it. So again, what do you, as millennials, is that attractive in a woman if she comes after you, or do you still want to go after her?
I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It doesn't scare you if
No.
she's coming on too strong.
No, but I would say this is what I'll say. So in today's society, when you're dealing with a lot of the, with the Me Too movement, things of that such, you don't want to be too forward with someone that you may not think about it. So maybe it's like not unrequited feelings, and so you reach out to somebody and she takes it as offense, or she.
But what are you saying to her? Because I mean,
What is this? This is a hypothetical. I'm not saying
I'm
anything.
saying. I mean, what can she take as offense?
I mean, say for
Hi,
instance,
how you doing?
Say for instance, a situation where you have a colleague or coworker that you might like, and someone pursues that coworker, and she takes it as, oh, he's trying to hit on me, or he's trying to talk to me, or something like that, and files a complaint with HR. That's gonna be on him.
But work is risque though.
Well,
Work is
that's-
risque.
Work is risky.
Very.
That's very
Work
risky.
is risky.
feel
But
like
we're talking
at
about
this
your
point,
average
yeah.
girl. You see,
Yeah.
you want to, say something to her. I'm sure you're not going to say something offensive.
Right. And I think for
right off.
most guys, I mean, we want a hint. We want to at least know, like, all right, this person has interest, because again, that's going to increase our chances of it being successful. And so I think, obviously, we're going to be hunters as men. We're going to make that initial move. But yes, we want sort of that reciprocation in terms of communication or feelings,
Right.
within that.
You want to do, and I want to get to you because I know you should. Do you want to see her? I mean, I know you want her to show you something,
Right.
but is it a turnoff if she is the aggressor initially?
I wouldn't say so.
Not to me.
No, I
Okay,
wouldn't say
that's
so.
fair.
But
Yeah.
that's only if you like initially, if you like really about this chick. But if you were just like, I'll try her, or like, and she's the aggressor, you're like, hold up. But if you were like really about this chick from the beginning, then no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that could be a turn on for some guys. Like some
I
guys may
think
like
so.
that. Yeah.
I think, how about you, Benny?
I mean, we just transitioned from us sending outrageous dick pics for no reason to do we want you to talk to us? Yeah, yeah. Call this number back after I send you this pic. Yeah, yeah.
That's a little message in the book.
Immediately after, right?
Between you and me. So
Dot.
so we're trying not to leave any space in between. Yes. So anyway it happens. I mean, like from my personal relationship, as he's talking about his, I'll talk about mine. We actually originally met in high school, but I connected with her on Tinder. So yeah,
The thirst app.
He got a Cinderella story. He got a Cinderella
This
story.
is it because you met on Tinder?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, do tell.
Remat.
Rematch.
No, she was the woman of my dreams in high school.
In high school. So
Yes.
you, every time she walked
Okay.
out, you were like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't stand a
just
chance
melted.
in my mind. I didn't stand a chance, and she was friends with my friends. Either way, I actually would hang out with her. We were in that maybe friends with benefits, friend zone, and so it wasn't friends with benefits back then, of course. But I would make her laugh. I would build my confidence up, but it never left my mouth. So that was it. I thought I went to college, started a job. We still live in the same area, so thankfully Tinder picked up 50-mile radius. So boom, we reconnect, and I am attacking her. I'm not missing my
So
chance
you
again.
saw her on Tinder.
Yeah, I
and you
saw
were like,
her.
whoa.
Yeah.
Got that.
Yeah.
And you made the first contact.
I had to super like her if my millennials are out there. Yeah, not afraid to say it.
Super like.
super
What
like,
does that mean?
since
See,
you-
I don't even know.
Man, maybe that's one of the levels. I don't
To
know.
explain it, just as it sends notifications to the other Tinder person. Because on Tinder, you have to match. You have to like their picture, and then they have to like your picture following for them to even know you exist.
Okay.
Super like skips that.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's a dick pic of likes, where it just sends you an unwanted notification that the guy's interested in you, and you like that. So
Yeah, I gotta
Not
get.
like
I want to read True Lynn Doyle. She says, I have taught my son that he is the hunter, and that most times you don't want a woman who is the aggressor. I don't believe that is a role of a lady. So. That's just one of our listeners. Thank you, True Lynn, for chiming in. So, you know what? I do think, it's old school. And I appreciate that you saw your opportunity again and you went after her.
He was like, I'm not letting it go.
But I think with this particular girl, had she come after you, it wouldn't have mattered either way to you, probably.
the prior relationship there was no, it wouldn't have mattered. I already knew who she was.
Yeah.
But let me chime in on that comment a little bit.
Okay.
It's the difference between being the aggressor and having one aggressive act and just being an aggressive lady when we're in a relationship and you're just, I'm ordering the food, I'm opening your door.
Right.
You get in the car. Like,
Because there are a lot of women that are pursued, but are the aggressor in the relationship.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
that
And
may
you,
be turn off.
and you see some men that are perfectly fine with that.
If you out there, holla at me.
Shayna got something for you. We have about 5 more minutes, I'm guessing, because we're going to go over a little bit because we started late. Tosh, do you have any? I've enjoyed you guys.
This is
so
fun.
No,
That's
I
awesome.
had a lot of fun today, and we definitely have to do this again.
Absolutely.
I think we had really good conversation though,
we
and
did.
awesome input.
We did.
Yeah.
And
Have a
It
part
was.
two.
And
Have a part two.
Diva Tosh tried to kill us. Alcohol poisoning.
I'm tipsy over here.
I'm woozy right now.
Right.
I'm Shayna, why you got to put my business
I
on?
warned you, she is heavy-handed with the
For real.
tequila now.
Anybody that knows me knows I'm
so-
heavy-handed.
I'm feeling a little warm right now. A little bit.
Something else.
I'm feeling warm too.
Oh,
So I
Lord.
think anybody, if you guys got anything else, let me know. Again, I want to say Anthony, thank you.
No problem.
Shayna,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Brian, thank you. It has
Brian.
been a pleasure. Thank you
This
for
has been
engineering.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you,
Eric,
Brian.
thank you.
Thank you.
Benny and.
Benny made a special trip out here for the show
Okay,
today.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you
So
would you
thank you.
definitely would you come back for us if we want you to?
Next Sunday should not be a problem.
I don't know when, but
Right.
but we did.
We'll work this out.
Okay.
Like you
Work it
said,
out.
yes, I would like to work it out with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that's going to be it for us. Please remember to, first of all, I want to see, where can you find these guys at? Let us know, Anthony.
You can find us on iTunes by ourselves. Can We Talk? You can find us on SoundCloud under Podcast Detroit. Like, share, and subscribe. We got a Facebook website too.
Yep, unofficial.
Unofficial
Can
Can
we
We
talk?
Talk.
We got to get that fixed. We're going to get that changed for y'all.
Don't ask.
But unofficial, can we talk?
And then your Instagram page.
At Reluctant Movie Buff, all one word. Check out reviews and stuff of that nature. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And as always, you can catch us at 2divasandamargarita.com, Podcast Detroit. We're on SoundCloud.
And we got our Facebook page.
And we have our Two Divas and a Margarita Facebook page. So thank you for joining us. All the guests who joined us online and watched live, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate you. Please check in with us again. And I think that's it. We're out of here.
Right. Little known fact, my girl and his girl, we went on a double date last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
I'm still in a relationship, so
Thank you guys.
just sat there so patiently.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yep. We'll share. Thank you. We'll share the video whenever it's out.
Thank
So
you.
So much.
Good officiating.
thank you, Shane.
He handled it. Shayna, it was nice talking to you, Benny. Okay, take care.
I don't drink, but thanks for bartending.
No, thanks for coming.